I was messing about with electronics since I was about 10 or 11. And then I started making sound generating electronics. And yeah, and I've kept doing that for the last 20-something years. You may or may not know anything about how synthesizers work, but we're exposed to their sounds every day, and not just in music. It could be a jingle on a radio show, an alien sound effect in a movie, the chime in an elevator, or the message alert on your phone. Synthesized sounds are everywhere. My name is Tatsuya Takahashi, and I am a synthesizer designer. Right now, it's a great time to start getting into synthesizers. There's loads of synthesizers around right now, some of which I designed, like the Vox series. And in fact, it's really easy now to start making synthesizers of your own. There are many, many tools, both hardware and software, that will help you do that. Once you know how to create your sound-making device, you can do pretty much whatever you want, and you can go really crazy, like this piece we did called A for 100 Cars. We worked with a composer called Ryoji Ikeda, and we created 100 different synthesizers to be played on 100 different cars to create a massive drone soundscape. As complicated as these synthesizers may look, most of them are based on one type of synthesis called subtractive synthesis. And this was popularized by the Minimoog when it came out in 1970. And although this is a synthesizer, you can break this down into different blocks that have different functions. So in a subtractive synth, you start with a basic waveform that comes from the oscillator block. It usually is a triangle, or a square, or a sawtooth. So these are typical waveforms that you would start with. And you would use a different module inside the synthesizer to sculpt the tone of that waveform, and it's called a filter. And this is basically the basics of subtractive synthesis. In our Red Bull Music Academy Challenge, you'll be able to learn how this works. Remember that there are conventions, but actually nothing is wrong if it sounds good. The world is your oyster.